Recording in progress.
Yes, team. So today's training. So I'm going to go back a little bit into this. I'm just distracted already. Nick, the old school transmix, you'll love it. So we're going to go back into this. I love this rumble strip theory. Like whether it's a relationship, whether it's a job, whether it's getting fat, whether it's getting unfit, whether it's that you're getting ill all the time, whether it's that you're not showing up, whether it's that you're getting back into old habits, and any of those types of things. Life always gives us a signal that something isn't working. The career's not working, the relationship's not working, the diet's not working, all of these things. But so often, either because it's we don't want to admit it, or we don't really want to change, or it's an ego thing and we'd rather keep trying to learn to tie our shoelaces by banging our head into the pavement. We don't listen to the warning signals. If your weight's going up 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds a month, that's a fucking warning signal to get in the gym and start doing some work. Okay? If you're finding every day there's an atmosphere in your relationship, you're arguing, you're snappy, things aren't aligning, that's a rumble strip that you need to have some conversations or make decisions. If you are experiencing what I call Friday euphoria and Monday morning blues, i.e. you can't wait to get through the week because you fucking hate your job so much, so you can escape it for 24, 48 hours before feeling literally suicidal at the thought of going back to work on Monday morning. That's the world giving you a very big signal that you need to change. And that's the reason why I love this analogy, is because that's what happens, isn't it, right? We're on the motorway and everything's going fine and we're in the lane and we're moving swiftly and we're going along and things are great, and then all of a sudden you hit the rumble strip. Shit. Like, I hit them even when I'm not tired. Pete will vouch for that, and rocks and various other things that have caused damage to the car over the past few years. But it's a very smart sign. This isn't right. You've gone off track. You're going back to the old ways. You're going back to the old habits. And yet, what most people do is turn up the music. The world's giving me a signal that this isn't right, but I'll turn up the music. Every day I'm getting a reminder that my mental health is suffering. Turn up the music, go and have another drink. Every day I'm getting a reminder that I'm gaining weight. Ignore the reminder, turn up the music, go and have another McDonald's. Every day I'm getting a reminder that the career I'm in is ruining my life. Turn up the heat, I'll just crack on. I'm too old to make changes. This is what most people do. But a rumble strip, right? What is it designed for? A rumble strip is designed to wake you the fuck up when you're going off track. And your emotions and your gut in your body and your mind does exactly the same thing as a rumble strip. So when you start to get that intuition that this isn't right, this isn't working, I'm feeling uncomfortable and all these things, don't turn up the music to block out the rumble strip. Turn down the music and tune in. Right, why aren't I happy at work? What's wrong? Why am I gaining weight? What changes do I need to make? Why am I depressed all the time? What have I stopped doing that I wasn't doing before? Why am I feeling this way? What inputs do I need to change? So take that away. When you feel like you're hitting a rumble strip and you know something's not right in your life, you know you're not happy, don't turn up the music, i.e. go and get pissed, eat more food, block it out, engage your ego, engage your stubbornness, and continue doing what you're doing. Turn down the music and listen to it. Does this make sense? Because trust me, the world, the universe, your life, your friends, your family, every single thing in your life is giving you feedback on a daily basis. The problem is most people ignore the feedback until it's too late. They ignore the signs until they're depressed. They ignore the signs until they're 4 stone overweight. They ignore the signs until they can't walk up the stairs with getting out of breath. They ignore the signs until their job has made them physically depressed. They ignore the signs until their relationship has become so toxic it's abusive and it's making them unhappy every day. Turn down the music. Pay attention to what your body and your mind is telling you. Listen to it and understand what changes you need to make. Because every day, your head, your heart, and your gut. This is what I'm learning now we need to understand. We have different things. We have our head, we have our heart, and we have our gut. When those 3 align, that's when the magic happens. But if something is feeling wrong in your gut or your heart or your head, it's wrong. Don't turn up the music to not listen to it. So, this a huge take home that I had this week is understanding that we can operate from a fear-based mentality. We can believe the world is full of fear and scarcity, or we can operate from a love-based mentality where we feel the world is just full of love and acceptance and growth and contribution and all the things we talked about. Abundance is a great word, okay? So this will make sense as we draw to the end. And this is classic Peter. This is some of my best learnings from Peter. So he said that he calls himself a reverse introvert or reverse engineered. So he believes that the entire universe is a giant conspiracy to make him happy, fulfilled, and successful. And that's the difference between the two things. Most people believe the universe and life and the government and everything and all these things is a giant conspiracy against them. That's when you're coming from a very ego-based position, right? Very ego-based. So everybody's out to get me. I need to look after number 1. All these things that I need to do. Luke, are you outside my house? No, not yet. Oh, phew! Thought you were at mine for a minute. That's when we can't operate from that place. Everyone's out to hurt me. Everyone's out to get me. All rich people are bad. Money is the root of all evil. You can't operate from there. But if you can come from that place of the world is a giant conspiracy to make me happy, how different does that sound? You know, and that's when we need to understand we need to be willing to keep walking the hard road and accept the lessons and change the actions. Because the world will keep giving you the same lessons until you make the changes. Some people have to be given the same lessons so many times before they finally decide, actually, it's time to make the change. But if you can come from a position where you believe, like, the universe has my back, full stop. Everything happens for a reason. But until we get to grips with there are no quick and easy ways to make money, there are no quick and easy ways to get lean, ripped and fit, you cannot ignore problems in a relationship and expect it to succeed. If you don't stand up for yourself, you are always going to get crushed. The universe will keep giving you the same lessons over and over and over again until you realize. This is when people say, you know, everyone always treats me like shit. No, they don't. Everyone treats you the way you allow them to treat you. And until you understand that you need to grab a set of balls and stand up and say, I'm not going to allow people to treat me like that, the universe will keep allowing people to treat you that way until you accept the lesson. Classic in relationships. Classic. Sorry, ladies, as well, but massive from a female perspective. All men are arseholes, all men are cheats, all men are this, all men are that. No, that's the men that you choose and the way you allow them to treat you. Sorry if that's hurtful, but it's true. Same goes for both ways, but like various things we've discussed, it very often happens that way. All men are the same. Yeah, of course they are. Prince William and Conor McGregor have so much in common. All men aren't the same. You just keep picking the same men until you're going to accept the lesson that the universe gives you, that you need to think better about your actions, and vice versa. So, back to a word on thoughts. This absolutely melted my head. This is newish, seashells on the seashore. Newish, can't even say it, new-ish research. The world's best antidepressant versus a sugar pill. Clinical scientific research. The sugar pill outperformed the antidepressant by 2%. Now, building back into the old trainings, you now tell me that the inner world and the outer world aren't connected. That the person thinking about the thing was more powerful than the thing. This is when we go back into change your thoughts, change your life. Change your thoughts, change your outcome. Change your life, change your thoughts, change your experience. Everything comes from the thoughts. And that's what we're in control of. The thought of taking the pill created a bigger biochemistry shift than actually taking the pill. Change your thoughts, change your life, change your beliefs. But it's our internal beliefs. All men are bad. All rich people are evil. Money is the root of all evil. There's no jobs out there. Nothing ever works out for me. People always treat me like shit. I can't lose weight. I can't get fit. I can't build muscle. I can't make money. Repeat. What are they? What are they all? They're not truths. They're thoughts. And eventually, after 30 days, those thoughts became a belief. Those beliefs led to the outcomes and the actions that we take. Over time, what does that become? Our identity. Which is why we go back to the creating a new identity. I am a person who always gets treated badly by people. I'm a defenseless victim. Life happens to me, not for me. Everything is always somebody else's fault. Thought, belief, identity. I am a strong, courageous leader who empowers people to live their best life and is an incredible role model to my son. Thoughts, belief, identity. So we're going to go back to the movie analogy. And this comes down to being the star of our own life. And I love this phrase. If you think about using, it's why I connect with Peter's coaching so much, because he uses such great examples of real life to make quite intense psychological stuff make sense. Like your movie, right? The movie of your life, the movie that you star in, Luke Birch. Do you want that to be a movie where you make it safely to the end, nothing ever happens, no one watches it again because it's so boring, it never even gets past the VHS onto the big screens, and it's not remembered? Or do you want the movie that's an Academy Award winner? The movie that people watch time and time and time again. The movie that has everything. Because this is when we avoid pain. This is when we avoid circumstances. This is when we don't embrace challenge. What does a great movie have? Heroes, villains, romance, drama, tragedy, adversity, comedy, action, surprise, death, birth. It has everything. And it's certainly not coming from a place of certainty, is it? When are you on the edge with a movie? When are you gripped? When do you keep watching it? When you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's so exciting, rather than being addicted to certainty. And again, these comes down to thoughts, choices, actions, and decisions. We choose the movie, we write the script. But this is what hit home with me this week, because we keep avoiding hard. We avoid adversity. We want to get up a little bit later. We don't really want to do the runs. We don't want to deal with hunger. We don't want to change jobs. We don't want to have the difficult conversations. We avoid all of these things. But what do the greatest actors in the world do? If anyone can type it before I say it, I will give you a free Unbreakable hat and a free Unbreakable t-shirt. By the way, I found about 25 limited edition Unbreakable Leg Up Project t-shirts. I'll post them up later that you guys can have. Well, you can buy them for cost and we'll give all the money to charity. There's about 20 of them left. I found them on Saturday. What do great actors do? They pick via choice the hardest role, the most difficult role, the role that takes the most research. So the harder your role, aka your life, aka your movie, the greater you're going to be. Yet we keep avoiding tough. We keep avoiding hard. And this is exactly what I mean about accepting the gift. Because when we get a hard life, it's actually a gift. It's exactly what I've done when you think about it. I've turned it all around. It's not perfect by any means. But I've turned it all around. It took me years to do it, but now I've turned it around to a level that I can help others. So my hardships were actually a gift. My adversity was a gift. So we can turn whatever happened to us around. Yes, little Luca. We can either turn whatever happened to us around and start living our best lives. Nice colour t-shirt. You got the red memo. Or we can just keep moaning about it. And we can keep use it as an excuse, and we can keep moaning and bitching and all rich people are bad and all men are cheats and all women are bitches and my boss doesn't appreciate me and my this, my that, my parents' fault. You know, I was like a broken record with that for years. Or we can go, right, I'm going to use all that stuff that happened, all that bad stuff that happened, all those people that let me down, all those people that didn't love me, all that adversity, all those people that never cared about me. And I'm going to use that as a giant, big, fat excuse to be a binge-eating, coke-sniffing, depressed, pie-eating alcoholic. Not going to watch that movie either. Or I can use that to think, I've come through this adversity, I've challenged it, I'm still moving forward, I'm still strong, I'm happy, I've got people that love me, I've got a roof over my head, I've got freedom of choice, I've got options, I'm in charge of my thoughts, I'm in charge of writing the script, the pen is in my hand, it's mightier than the sword, and I'm going to use all this adversity to help other people. Had you not had the tough role, you wouldn't have that ability. But we have to be willing to go the hard yards. I haven't actually seen this film. Let me know if you have. But again, Peter used it as an example. Dustin Hoffman in The Rain Man. Like, he went to live with autistic people for months and months and months and months and months as part of the role, so he could better understand them. And then delivered a groundbreaking performance. Became an Academy Award winner. He didn't get that award by saying, I want to be the extra in the Tetley Teabag adverts. And I've no idea where that's come from. I think it's because Stephen's holding a cup of tea. I don't know. Who knows where my mind goes? But he didn't. He didn't, did he? You know, you're not gonna pick the easy role, remembering your one line in your commercial as an extra, and become an Academy Award winner. You have to go through the tough stuff. You know, I've helped hundreds of people handle grief. Some in the last couple of weeks that are in this group, to a level where they're like, I cannot believe the way I've handled this grief, the way I've found meaning in 2 weeks, and I'm moving forward. I've helped them find peace. I've helped Jason find peace after having his children murdered. Not fully peace, but peace. I've taught him about gratitude. I've helped a lot of other people who have lost parents or children. That was the gift of my mum dying. Had I not gone through that, would I have had the skills to help them? Had I not suffered in turn a lot of grief, would I now have the grief management skills to help people? No. It's a gift. And I want you to ask yourself these questions today, because questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Why did you pick the script that you're currently living? And listen to my wording very carefully. Why did you pick the script? Not why are you living the script you were given, not given. Why did you pick the script? Because we are all choosing our own scripts every day. So we can pick the script of the easy role in the B movie, speaking one line that nobody ever watches, or we can pick the script of the Academy Award winner. One will be exciting, edge of the seat, dangerous, uncertain, scary, thrilling, exciting, hero's journey. One will be boring and forgotten about. But we have to understand we are in charge. And then that's when we can start to embrace the adverse situations. Had I not lost my mum, then I wouldn't have struggled, then I wouldn't have had the grief counselling, then I wouldn't have worked with Nikki, then I wouldn't have been able to help Jason. Had I not failed the 100-mile run the first time round, I wouldn't have done the 100-mile run for Jason and probably helped him in the capacity that I did. Gifts, lessons, two of the most adverse situations, failures, travesty, death. Gifts, lessons, that's how we channel it. So we can choose to play the extra in the B movie, or we can choose to test yourself to the limit in the blockbuster. Who's going to win an Oscar because yes, his life was tough, but also it was gripping and exciting. That is your invitation today, to write a new script. But that's what I want. That's what excites me. That's what gets me out of bed. I want people to buy my movie. In fact, I don't want people just to buy my movie. This is why I'm working now on the YouTube channel more. I want my movie to be a legacy. I want people to be still learning things from it long after I've left this earth. And that means it has to be interesting. It has to be captivating. But going back to what I said, that it was Einstein who asked that question when Peter said about him he believes that the universe is set up to make him happy and successful, fulfilled, and it will always have his life. The question was that Einstein asked you to ask yourself, do I live in a friendly or a hostile universe? Do I believe that everyone's here to help and serve me and that there's always a lesson? Or do I believe that everyone's out to get me and everything in the world is bad? These come down to beliefs. Fear-based universe, everyone's out to get me. Friendly universe, everyone is here to teach me and serve me. Fear-based universe, I need to look after number one, ego-driven. Friendly universe, how can I serve and contribute and help others? But again, it's inverse paranoid, that was what he called it. I'm an inverse paranoid. I believe I'm paranoid that everything's set up to be good for me. The world is a giant conspiracy to make me happy and successful. The world is a giant conspiracy to make me fulfilled and happy. But going back into now what we discussed about as well, again, you know, everything happens for a reason. But we have to accept the reason and extract the lesson, or the reason will become the reason for not doing. I've said this so many times. It took me 35 years for the story of my mum to become my strength, not my struggle. And man, do I wish I'd had that lesson earlier. That it's the same thing. Anything that's happened can become your strength or your struggle. It depends whether you look at it from a fear-based mentality or a friendly, contribution-based mentality. But we have to take ownership and responsibility as well. So again, this might hurt people. We're going back to the rumble strip. If you guys saw my notes, you'd laugh your head off. You know, if you're massively overweight, if you're massively unfit, if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling down, if you're struggling in any area of life, good. Why would Lee say that? Because it's the rumble strip. It's waking you up and telling you it's time to change, unless you want to live this life. If you do, that's cool. But this is the invitation to live a different life. But if you're experiencing those feelings that I said at the beginning and you're getting these signals to change, it's your sign to change. Don't turn up the music. And this is the last bit. So if you're listening to this and thinking, this is great, Lee, I want to be Tom Cruise in Top Gun, but I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. Comment Tom Cruise if you feel like that, either now or on YouTube when you're watching on replay. If you are watching on YouTube on replay, make sure you drop a comment. And also, guys, make sure you will only be able to access it via what's in the WhatsApp group now. You can't see any of the trainings publicly. So comment if this is you. Is that how you feel when you listen to a training like this? All this sounds great, but I'm stuck in a rut. All this sounds great, but how do I move it forward? All this sounds great, and I get it, and we know this. Most people don't have an information problem, they have an implementation problem. We know that most people know what to do, but they don't do what they know, and knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. I get exactly what you're saying, Lee, but I still can't move forward. And the way we need to move forward is, again, what I've discussed, shrinking things down. Number one, okay, you need to drop your ego and be open to change. If you were doing everything right and you knew what you were doing and you could do it all on your own, doing the same things you're doing now, you would already be where you want to be. You're not. I'm not. But the biggest thing is, you know, I go back to ABC, action brings change. Action builds confidence. But it only has to be done one step at a time. But where so many people live is, I want the body, but I don't want to lift the weights. I want the fitness, but I don't want to do the runs. I want the body, but I don't want to eat the food. I want to keep on drinking and eating a chippy tea. Like, the amount of people that have come inquired to work with me only in this last few weeks, when literally the first thing they say is, basically, a guy said it this week, I just want to know what's expected of me. And if I break down his message, it basically said, because I want world-class results, but I don't want to change anything that I'm currently doing, because whatever I do has to fit into family life. What a crock of shit. He's not willing to change. He's not willing to change anything. So we have to be open to it. We have to accept the invitation and we have to move. But we can't be saying, you know, I want to be in the gym, but I don't want to lift the weights. I want to be the hero in the hero's journey and the Academy Award winner, but I don't want to have to learn more than 1 or 2 lines, and I still want to go out every weekend. You know, we have to be willing to do the work, But if you want a better life, ask better questions. That is it. That's what I'm going to leave you with. If you want a better life, ask better questions. Because questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Thoughts are the compass. Make sense? Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Thoughts are the compass. Most people ask terrible questions, and that's the reason why they don't move forwards. Because your mind is like Frankie's, who now lives with James and Jess. If you throw Frankie something to fetch, it could be a red ball, an orange ball, a green ball, or a hand grenade. Will he still run and fetch it? Of course he will. He doesn't know the difference. Doesn't matter what type it is, what colour it is, he will go and fetch it. I don't think I need to explain the damage if it's a hand grenade. But your mind is the same. If you keep asking it the same questions, it's going to get the same answers, whether they're good or not. But we have to serve in order to help. We have to remove this resistance. We have to understand that we are in the gym and we need to be in the gym. And in order to take all of these things and make the action happen in whatever area of life and make sure we're throwing the right ball and getting the right answers, we have to ask the right questions. So how can we ask better questions? Because most people ask terrible questions and then they get terrible answers and they're not in control. That's the hand grenade situation. So people ask this question. This is a reframe that might possibly change your life. Why do bad things always happen to me? I saw this on Facebook the other day. Why do bad things always happen to good people? They don't. Stop playing the fucking victim. Bad things just happen to people. They happen to good people. They happen to bad people. You know, criminals win the lottery, and amazing people who've lived their whole life serving others are struck down by cancer. Things just happen to people. Stop putting a cap on it. Stop making it about you. Things happen. It's not the thing, it's how we handle it. And how do we handle it? We handle it by not asking terrible questions, by asking better questions and getting better answers. So we're catching the green ball, not the hand grenade. So rather than why do bad things happen to me, how about if I reframed that as, how can I be the change that I want to see in the world? That's a powerful question. How can I give more value? How can I help people? How can I have an impact? How can I serve today? Not why does everything always happen to me? Not how can I get more? How can I give more? But the media and probably your however many 30, 40, 50 years of programming has programmed you to ask fear-based questions. Why is this happening? COVID, what a classic example. Why has this happened to me? Everything is bad. If I heard one more person say, this is the new norm, I literally wanted to smack their head off their shoulders. You're literally repeating something that you've seen on Facebook and the TV, making it your own and becoming it a belief. This is the new norm. No, it's not. The new norm is whatever the fuck you make it. Stop conforming. Stop listening to fear. Stop following the crowd. You want to go with the flow? Guess what goes with the flow? Dead fish. People made thousands of pounds in lockdown. People turned it in a second into a positive. It's only the new norm if you accept it as the new norm and listen to other people like a puppet. You know? So ask better questions, but you've got to be careful because it's not your fault. You're being programmed to ask them. Everything on the media is fear. I'm not going to go down that road again of seeing why you shouldn't read it. But again, when we hit adversity, let's go back to the movie role. I've got to speed this up. How can I grow from this? These are the better questions to ask. Okay? Next time life smacks you in the face, straight away, how can I grow from this? Great question. What's amazing about this situation that I haven't yet had the awareness to notice? Great question. If you haven't read it, it's quite tough going, but has anyone actually read Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning? I struggled with it to start with. It's heavy. But when you sit through it, you know, listen to him. What was his problem? He's in a concentration camp in Auschwitz. You know? Compare that to I've lost my phone and cracked the screen. Compare that to my gas bill's gone up by £20 a month. But yet we think it's the end of the world. We're back at the children in Cambodia, grateful for rice and water. And if you gave them a football, they would probably act like they'd won the lottery. Yet you're all bum hurt because you can't get the latest iPhone that's come out because your gas bill's gone up. Do you know what they'd give to even have a phone? Do you know what they'd give to have a gas bill? A house, clean water. This is the contrast. This is the reframe. This is what will wake you up. Reframe your adversity. Play the hard role. Pick the hard script. Pick the tough movie. This is why I'm running 200 miles. This is why I'm taking on Marathon des Sables, even though everyone thinks I'm crazy. 7 days in the Sahara Desert. 140 degrees top heat, sub-zero bottom heat, carrying 20 degrees, a double marathon on the 4th day, taking on 52 miles, self-supported. Why? Same reason Dustin Hoffman took on that role. Because if I can do the hard things, I can do anything. Ladies, we're now going to celebrate you a little bit. 90% of you watching this have birthed a child. 100% of the men watching this would run a fucking mile in the opposite direction at the thought of being pregnant, let alone birthing the child. You've already won your biggest battle. You will never go through anything tougher, and we cannot ever understand what that would be like. You're strong, you're powerful, you're beautiful. You've managed to do that. You managed to conceive and carry that child for 9 months, birth it and raise it, and now you're fucking upset because the electricity bill's gone up. Reframe the adversity. You've already won your toughest battles. You won the 400,000,001 sperm race to get here. You were a born winner. That is what's called a contrast frame. So next time you're struggling with a 60-minute run, or moaning about being hungry, or you've snoozed 3 times because you're getting up, or you're getting snappy at the kid, or you've got arse on because the size 8 trainers you want aren't available on the Nike shop, reframe your situation. You know, again, I can talk about the adversity in my life, but guess what? 5-year-old Lee handled it. He's still here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12-year-old Lee handled it. He's still here. Look back at the challenge and how you overcame it, and use that empowerment to move you forward. So questions for you. What can you reframe to empower you today? Make a list. What have you already beaten that makes all the things you are currently worrying about meaningless? What have you already overcome? List them out and fucking celebrate yourself. What are the future adversities that you're grateful for because you know that you're going to learn from them? Add this to your morning routine. Every time something hits you down, think, is it really that bad, or have I already beaten better? You know, another epic question. How can I choose to love instead of being angry in a challenging situation? And I'm going to finish on this. I need to rip through it really quickly because I've got a meeting. If you haven't read Peter's book, and this isn't a pitch, go and read it, The Inside Track. This is probably the greatest example It's what connected me with him initially after seeing him talk on stage. But his greatest moment, going to prison. He instantly said, I was meant to go to prison. He lost multiple millions of pounds, went from 100 employees to 3. And the first thing he said was, this was meant to happen. I was meant to go to prison. What can I learn? What's amazing about this situation yet that I haven't yet realised? And then wrote 11 letters in prison, which is that book, to his clients that weren't meant to be publicly released. And that book went on to sell 10 million copies. New York Times bestseller. But these are some lines that I wrote down that he said that just blew my head. I went into prison as a secret agent of change to help people, not a prisoner. What a reframe. I went into prison as a secret agent to change and help people. I went into prison to be the example and the invitation. He was that calm in prison that all the prison staff and some of the prisoners, which was pretty dangerous at some point, thought he was an undercover copper. And when he says, why does everyone think this? I went, we've never seen anyone so happy to be in prison. From day one, he was there to help, serve, contribute, and change. When he went into his cell, the first thing he said to his cellmate was, this is amazing. We've got a private meditation room for 23 hours a day with an ensuite. That's a reframe. And in the first letter that he wrote to all of his clients, he said, don't worry about me. I am just here on location for 6 months filming the prison scene of my movie. That is a mindset. But again, we have to also take the action once we've decided that we're going to implement this change. Because theory and listening doesn't cover the cost of admission to greatness, to success, to awareness. We have to take the action. Again, you can't listen to all this about rumble strips and then not apply it. Go, yeah, that sounds great, but I didn't apply it. Like Police Academy, man. Talk is cheap. Listening is cheap. Theory is cheap. Learning is cheap. Action brings change. But I want you guys to know, every single one of you is strong, resilient, clever, and worthy. As I've said many times, you are enough. You always have been. Situations and circumstances might have just led you to believe otherwise. But be yourself. Write that movie. Be authentic. Be grateful. Reframe adversity as your greatest gifts. Be yourself always, and you'll attract everything that you've always wanted. Guys, I've got to shoot. I love you all. You're all unbreakable. You're all heroes. Have an awesome day. Let's go.